What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. I am Sean Ross Sapp. It is November 12th, 2025, and it's time to hump.
What's going on, man?
We got Phil Lindsey of Grapsity here with us. You can check him out on Grapsity every Saturday, the occasional Sunday if it's like a PLE week or something, here on Fightful, as well as their own channel where they got tons of clips worth checking out. Also, Ask Grapsity every other week on FightfulSelect.com. We'll tell you about Fightful Select later. Phil, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I am about as good as a fan of a team that loses games when they score 38 can be. Phil.
Yeah.
I'm as good as a guy who's a fan of a team who let a guy run for 200 yards after they literally traded the draft pick that he was used to be picked with last year for a guy that they used for one game. I'm about as good as that can be, Phil.
Yeah, these are a lot of things that sound very similar to being a Chicago Bears fan or a Chicago Bulls fan. And so I've seen a lot of these things happen to other teams this year when we've won close games. And I'm like, oh, that's what that feels like from the other side. Like
the Bengals, and I've got my Common Bengals W channel where you all can hear me talk about this. They are one play away each of the last two seasons from being in the playoffs. Like they were 9-8 both years, and just one call, one field goal, one thing would have gotten them there. This year, they are 2 tackles away from having a winning record, despite having statistically the worst defense in NFL history, worse than the winless teams since 1960, are these 3-win Bengals. And Joe Burrow is like, yeah, I'm coming back to work.
Yeah. Boy.
He can play free safety, I bet.
Yeah. Boy, I was watching you afterwards on stream, and I was like, oh, I would have been 1,000 times worse if we lost that game after they caught that pick six back. I would have been furious. Like,
yeah,
there's no way they should have lost that game. And, I mean, Bears got lucky this week. Giants quarterback had to come out because of concussion protocol dart. And so they put Russell Wilson in, because I was sitting there like, boy, if we lose to this garbage Giants team, I don't know, but as soon as Russell Wilson came in the game, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. We got him."
They're starting Jameis this weekend.
I figured, because you can see in that game they do not trust Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they shouldn't either. And like when Burrow went down, well, first off, we were like, okay, Jake Browning, he had a good 2023. Well, let's see how it goes. And 2 games in, we were like, let's get Russell Wilson. I got to compliment the Bengals front office. Thank you for getting Joe Flacco. He is a made man in Cincinnati. You have never seen a guy go 1-3 and be so made in a city before. We love him here.
Some of his, probably one of his best statistical years, probably even more than that Super Bowl year. I mean, this guy threw like 400 yards on us almost.
Yeah. Well, guys, get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We are here to talk about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. If you're new to the channel, of course, we have Grapsity on Saturdays. I reviewed what I think was one of the best Raws of the year on Monday. And tonight, AEW Blood and Guts post-show. Hopefully you guys stick around and check that out. But get in your super chats here at youtube.com/Fightful or your humper chats at humperchats.com. That lets us know what you guys want to talk about. Van Twinblade says, Grapsity represent. What up, SRS and Phil? It's Blood and Guts Day. Sickos stay winning. I will say that, not to rain on anybody's parade, because I will probably enjoy tonight's show based on previous Blood and Guts. If there's one thing that this month has shown me, Phil, it's that we don't need 4 War Games and Blood and Guts matches. We don't need them in the same month, and we certainly don't need them unless there's a reason for them. It just becomes a thing to do at this stage. But how do you feel on how do you feel regarding that, both Blood and Guts and War Games coming up?
Yeah, I thought that AEW had the chance to really give the women the spot this year and just do one Blood and Guts match. They had started building to the women's match earlier in the year, and then they just stopped all of a sudden. And then 2 weeks before, they were like, here's the lineup, here's everything you've been looking for. And so I feel like they should just spend the months really building to the women's match and giving the women the spotlight. And I don't know, I think for Survivor Series, when they switched to War Games a few years ago, it was a welcome change because the brand warfare thing had gotten tired. But now it's getting to the point that the War Games concept is getting tired because the build for both War Games has been pretty inconsistent, to say the least.
I love a good old-fashioned Survivor Series elimination match with stakes, but I know how bookers think today. Oh, you can't pin that many people. You can't do that. Yes, you can, actually. It's okay. Because when two people face each other, one's got to win and one's got to lose. Like, that's the reality. And to me, there are enough creative ways to be able to do that. I loved the wild card in 1995, where you had some heels, some faces, all that stuff. Like, do that and put some stakes on it. I loved 2004, a very dark period for WWE creatively outside of the Batista build, when it was for GM for the night. Like, whoever won got to be GM for a night, and you were able to turn a story out of that, which should have went further, where Maven had the opportunity to either challenge for the world title or join Evolution, and he chose the world title and lost it, and that was the catalyst for his heel turn. There are ways to do that. I do think there's a possibility that Wyatts and MFTs get added in like an elimination match, which I wouldn't hate them adding that.
No.
But I'm like, man, I just want a reason. And you could see what they did with the women in AEW. They're like, tickets are moving kind of slow. Let's throw everything we got into this match. Let's put Mercedes in there. Let's put Tony in there. Let's go ahead and do it. So, I mean, I would like the story to facilitate the match, not the other way around. But
yeah, I agree. But I mean, you had such a great thing going with it because you started with the Tekla and Queen Aminata storyline.
Yes.
Really sucks that Queen Aminata is not going to be a part of this match because she started the story. And so you had something really going from early in this year to this point that you could have built off of with the women. And, they managed to pull it together in the last 2 weeks, but this month, like I said, they could have really made the women's match like the real feature for this show.
Joshua D says, these MFs spitting. Can't not think of a Joe Hendry and Cena at MSG. I like the idea of Cardona, though. Cardona, because of the New York connection, sure, I get it. Hendry has been begging for that Cena match. And I have a sneaking suspicion that he is just under a full-time deal with WWE, Hendry. And if I were him, I would have said, give me that goddamn match. And you got yourself a deal. Just give me anybody. He would get a great reaction at MSG. Don't know how the match would end up. But, I mean, John Cena would win. But I fully expect next Monday, Phil, John Cena to come out and say, you thought I wasn't going to wrestle at MSG my last time? Of course I am. And the last time he's wrestled at MSG was like the MSG special against Rollins. Before that, on TV, rather, was the Rock match with Awesome Truth in 2011. Like, he doesn't wrestle on TV there very much. I could see one of those happening, but I fully expect John Cena to wrestle at MSG.
Yeah, I think if you got him at Raw in Madison Square Garden, why wouldn't you have him wrestle? It's the same thing with this week's Raw in Boston. Why wouldn't you have him wrestle if he's there? But yeah, I think Joe Hendry is going to be one of these mystery opponents, mystery entrants. I think it makes more sense for it to be Cardona in New York, but Joe Hendry's got to be at least one of them, and he's got such a great story around why he wants the match. I think they've got a good chance to make like a video package out of that or something.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Oh, here's a good one. Crazy 101 says the WWE MLSE messed things up for AEW in Toronto. So MLSE is Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, which helps promote and quite frankly owns quite a bit of stuff in Toronto. Among them include the original venue that AEW went to, the Coca-Cola Coliseum. But they are primary holders of like the Maple Leafs, the Raptors, the Toronto Argonauts, even Toronto FC, and also have their hands in an awful lot of venues as well. No, I do not think that this will affect AEW heavily. I mean, they'll have to get more creative about the venues that they run, I'm sure, if WWE has a say in that, so to speak. But I mean, Scotiabank Arena, things like that. But ROH ran Maple Leaf Gardens a few years ago. I think that's still actually available. But I asked Jimmy, and because he's from Toronto, and he said probably just going to see WWE themed Leaf and Raptor gear, WWE talent appearing at Leaf and Raptor games, notable players appearing on TV or in the crowd when they're into town. Curious to know behind the scenes if it'll keep AEW out of Scotiabank, but I guess we will see. So, and yeah, he said he meant Leafs and themed WWE gear as well. So you're probably going to see like some wrestlers wearing, that type of stuff, which, listen, I am a Leafs and a Raptors fan, but I am not a wrestling merchandise fan by and large, based on the way WWE does it. Do you see this as something that could keep AEW, like maybe angle them out? That's been a good market for them so far.
You got to assume that that's a big part of a lot of what WWE does right now. I mean,
you always got to assume that with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that they've made a point of being more in Vegas, just with the UFC connection, but also the fact that that's kind of been like a second or third hub for AEW since its first year. I think that that's affected Double or Nothing. Very curious to see where Double or Nothing will be next year. And it might not be one of those like that's the immediate intent to it, but it could be one of those things like couldn't hurt to also stop them from getting a little business here.
My Toronto Raptors started off very strong, Phil. And then they went like 1-5, and they're fighting back. They're fighting back.
Yikes.
Well,
you got Glorilla at the games now?
6-5 now. Yeah. Well, listen, they're gonna get stomped tomorrow in Cleveland. Like, it's gonna be bad tomorrow in Cleveland, but I'm optimistic about them and their future. I'm not optimistic about much basketball after the Kentucky Wildcats got spanked last night either, though. Stephen Stepp says, any idea why December 15th isn't a Cena farewell episode? We're a month away. It could be like it could be something like that. Like, but I don't know. I mean, he was pretty clear in a recent interview or his, I think it was the vignette they aired on Saturday Night's Main Event where he said, "Oh, I'll probably pop up here and there, but like I'm not going to get physical again." He's like, "I can't do that anymore." I think there's still time for this, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a month or so now that they could probably put together like an episode. But I mean, they've given the guy an entire farewell tour.
Yeah, could have been a better one.
They've given you an entire year to say your goodbyes to this guy.
Yeah, and listen, I like the direction that things are going a lot more than I did when it first emerged. Like, oh, he's going to face Dom at Survivor Series. I'm like, I'd kind of rather have him on the Avengers War Games team there. Yeah. And you see him there with Jey Uso, who is impossibly over, CM Punk, who's one of his biggest rivals, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and hopefully John Cena in like a big War Games match. Because I would be doing Dom versus Ray in San Diego if Ray's cleared. Those two in their hometown, that makes a ton of sense to me to do that there. And yeah, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, I think that was what I thought on Monday as well. When Dom came out, I was like, oh, so something must have changed with the Dom match that was reported for Survivor Series, which I think this was the right move. I think it was a bigger moment in Boston. And that match didn't really feel like a pay-per-view quality match to begin with, to me.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking for a bigger moment and you're looking to make your bedroom pay-per-view quality, have better sex with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong it'll knock your socks off, and maybe your neighbor's socks off, maybe your mailman's socks off. I don't know what you're delivering by his back door, but you'll have to move towns with the amount of noise you'll be making. Blue Chew Max has arrived, and it combines the active ingredients that you've always loved into one chewable. The combo acts fast and lasts. Be ready when she needs it. Get your first month of Blue Chew free. Go to bluechew.com, use that promo code FIGHTFUL, and get your first shipment free. The best part, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, no awkward in-person doctor's visits. You do your online consult, and if approved, it's shipped straight to your door safely and discreetly. But we have been very transparent, guys. It's not going to be discreet for long. Your mailman's going to be dropping stuff off, and he's going to be hearing those sounds, and he might go tell your neighbor. Then your neighbor's going to come over, and then your neighbor's neighbor's going to come over. Then next thing you know, the lady that you're buying forever stamps from at the post office is going to be like, I heard some stuff. Let me find out what that's about. And you're going to say, well, listen, lady, you got to go to bluechew.com and see that important safety information and details. But you can get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. We appreciate Blue Chew. Any contract injury status update on Austin Theory? I have not heard any contract updates, but last month when Dave Meltzer had reported that Austin Theory was in consideration for War Games, not only did I hit up somebody in WWE who, quite frankly, repeatedly debunks stuff and isn't a big Meltzer guy. And he was like, no, that is an option.
Oh,
okay.
Really?
Yeah. But this was last month. This is before the Seth injury and all that. So I don't know how that would have changed. But if that were not true, this person would have been very excited to tell me that it wasn't true. That leads me to believe that he is at least near healthy, or they believe that he would be near healthy, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have made a lot of sense for Austin Theory to join the Vision before Rollins got injured. And now, if they need somebody to fill that spot on a War Games match, I think it fits, especially if John Cena is going to be in the match.
I'm really fearing that they're going to add Brock to this match.
I think they are too. I think the last two are going to be Brock and possibly Theory.
Man, listen, Brock makes sense from the Heyman perspective, but I got to be honest, the only value I see in Brock returning is for one thing, and that is for him to get his ass kicked by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed eventually. I want Braun Breaker to not just beat Brock Lesnar. I want Braun Breaker to dominate Brock Lesnar. That's what I want to see happen in the future. Yeah. That's the only thing I've got for Brock.
I mean, Brock has a notable track record on the internet of beating every black world champion. And I want Oba to be the guy that finally beats him. I want it to happen, but I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
I just don't believe it will happen, but I think that would be a great moment for Oba. That'd be one of those things that stamped him.
I think that they need a youth movement. I'm glad that wrestlers are wrestling older than they've ever wrestled before. Like, boy, did I have the Nikki Bella stands coming after me this week because I wanted her to win matches. But I love the fact that now she can come back and she can work with younger talent, where 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, these women hit 30, 31 and they didn't come back. Like, that is just, it's insane. So I love that wrestlers are wrestling at older ages, and Nikki Bella is better now than she was in 2012. Sheamus is better now than he was in 2011, 2012. I'm glad to see that. They need some younger guys on this roster. I saw that Bleacher Report thing drop and people go, thought they had a youth problem when all of them were in NXT. I'm like, guys, clearly, it's a main roster thing. Push Braun Breaker, push Oba Femi, and push them parallel to one another to where eventually that meat meets. And they're doing some of this at WrestleMania.
Touching tips.
I want to see these two men stare at each other like it's 1990. One hits the rope, shoulder block, doesn't move. Shoulder block, doesn't move. I want that. I want the overhand chop to the chest, no sell. Overhand chop to the chest, no sell. Give me that. That's what I need. I think Obafemi, if he doesn't beat John Cena, should be beating Brock Lesnar, or should just win the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, beat Cody, leave Cody in a heap. I believe Cody can. I believe Cody can make Oba on that main roster, because I've always said this. I think the money is in chasing Oba, not Oba chasing anybody else. He is the guy that you look at and you go, how the fuck are we beating him? How do we do that? Like, who can do this? Man.
I would love to see that. I don't know. I don't believe. I think that they should give him the big Gunther push where he comes up and he becomes the guy that is this big mountain to overcome. But I don't know. I don't have any real faith that that's going to happen.
DNC Digital says, like WrestleMania SmackDown, do you think they can do traditional elimination tags in the week leading up? Favorite 90s a tag team name. I mean, I love the Nasty Boys as a tag team name, because the Cincinnati Reds 1990 bullpen was named the Nasty Boys as well. But also, as much as the Nasty Boys sucked like post 95, they had some of the most incredible gear and merch that I have ever seen. Like, even when their TNA run, those Nasty I Am shirts were so cool. They sucked. They were terrible wrestlers, but those were good. What was your favorite 90s tag team name?
Probably New Age Outlaws. I just thought it was cool. I thought that I wasn't this big DX fan, but I did think they were cool. Road Dogg used to come out and get all his catchphrases off before he became Brian Bad Booker. But
they got all of them in the game too. And WWF Attitude the Game. Yeah. That was definitely an intro first game, because it sucked from playability. The only reason why I don't think they will do traditional tag team elimination matches is because they don't want to pin so many people. And to me, I'm just like, that's a part of wrestling. I don't mind it, because then when you do something like DX, Hardy Boys, CM Punk in 06, it's special. When you do something like Undertaker, I think in 95, where he ran through everybody, or Big Show in 99, it's special. I think they should really lean back into those. We got somebody says, what's your guilty pleasure wrestler, feud, or match? I don't have any guilty pleasure wrestlers. I just like who I like. Phil, I will say this. I went back and rewatched the Katie Vick storyline, and because I didn't have to review it on a daily basis, it was remarkably funny to me.
No.
It was very funny to me.
Oh, no.
But it was funny to me because I was like, somebody had to think of this. They had to think in their own brain that it was a good idea. They had to pitch it. Somebody else had to say, yes, good idea. Then they had to run it by the creative team. They had to tell the talent involved. Then they had to set up the production and filming of it. Like, people really don't think about the multi-step process. Like, you had to go through like 12 things just because they rented out space to film these things. They had to have a prop guy do work on these things.
Yeah, that was awful storyline, awful angle. Guilty pleasure wrestler. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. A lot of wrestlers that I like that other people seem to not like. I'm 10 toes down on people I like. For a long time on Grapsody, I was the lone Bray guy on that podcast. And I continue to be big Bray fan. Even the Wyatt Six, I don't necessarily care for the way this tag title run is going, but I think that the Wyatt Six started really well. Guilty pleasure feud. It might be Bray LA Knight, man, because I think LA Knight came out of it looking so good. He came out looking much better than we expected. And I mean, boy, as ridiculous and bad as the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match was, it gave me some of the most laugh out loud moments of that night of just how terrible it was.
And I would say I wouldn't know how he looked during that match because they turned the goddamn lights off.
Yeah, but you had such great moments like LA Knight coming out and doing this Bray impersonation, which was still very funny to me. Man, what a guy in LA Knight. I don't think they realize what they have in him.
Yeah. Razor says, Sean, got any senses of what's to come between now through Mania and for Full Gear World's End? Always enjoy Phil Lindsey, Mr. Grapsody, and Mr. Fightful. Sorry for the Saturday night main event crash out. For Mania 42, I think you've got to ascend to Braun Breaker. I think that Obafemi needs to become a main roster guy. Trick Williams is probably coming up too. Well, I don't know what the hell else he can do. He's lost like 6 straight NXT title matches. So like what more can he do? And I believe that obviously they're gonna lean more into Okada Takeshita, but you're getting MJF back soon. You're getting Swerve back soon. And I think they got to do something big with them. Any thoughts on what you're gonna see?
Yeah. Do we have any confirmation if WrestleMania 42 is going to be 2 nights again in Saudi Arabia or no?
I believe it is, but you know what? I should probably dig more into that.
Yeah. Oh wait, he said 42. I'm sorry. I'm looking all the way ahead. That's 27. That's 2027. I'm thinking about sorry about that. I want it, and this is Razor's agenda as well. I want it to be Punk versus Cody. I just don't know how we get there at this point. I think there's a way you could try to get there, but that's, to me, I've been saying all year that should be the big Mania match. I want Sammy to get his moment as well. I've been picking Sammy to win the Royal Rumble. Again, now that Rollins is injured, I'm not sure if that's where we're going. But I still want Sammy to get this big world title win, man. I still think he's deserved it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that was a focal point of the Cross story. And then when Cross left, they were just like, oh, no, he's actually very satisfied with the U.S. title. So here you go.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. But it does feel like that's where we're heading. And it does feel like we're heading to Roman possibly versus Cody again, which I'm not nearly as interested in.
Meet Norma says, DC Sports, especially my 1 in 10 Wizards, have me appreciating wrestling these days. Will Oba get the push he deserve or be in the Sheamus Rusev vortex? So that's the thing. That's why I don't want to say I don't want him to beat John Cena. I'd be fine with him beating John Cena, but that means he'd be the Intercontinental Champion. I don't want him to be Intercontinental Champion. I want him to be World Champion. I want him to be immediately introduced after multiple years already on TV as a top guy.
Mm-hmm.
Alberto Del Rio is still getting bookings to this day because he was immediately shown as a top guy on WWE TV. He can go out there and do all the crazy shit in the world and still get booked because he was billed as a top guy.
Yeah.
Dare I say, if Brock Lesnar was brought in and booked like, I don't know, Luther Reigns, he's probably not still wrestling today, much less. Yeah, he's not doing that. But
yeah, I want to believe the Oba hype, but I get more and more worried at the expectations that people are putting on this because there are some very high expectations for Oba coming out of NXT. And I think for some of the complaints about the way that they've booked black male wrestlers for the past 2 years or so, I think a lot of people think that Oba is going to be the guy that changes that on the main roster. And I don't know that I've really seen any signs that could happen. And I want to believe because Oba feels like a can't miss talent. And I keep saying the biggest reason why it should work is he's their guy. He's their homegrown guy. And they need a real success story for the NIL program that they really haven't had yet. I'm still a little bit worried that it's not going to go as people expect.
DJ Cass says it's that time of the year again. WrestleCade is 2 weeks away. Hope to see you there. I'm ready to represent AML. WrestleCade is a must visit for me every single year. A really great wrestling. Really, I mean, like you're getting Brodito and Good Brothers. Like there's going to be something entertaining that happens in that ring, whether it's the wrestling or not. It's going to be a lot of fun. Loaded loaded slate of talent there. I always go there and get a lot of great interviews. Love North Carolina. It's incredible. Please go check out WrestleCade. They still have packages available. Bobby says, do you think running Blood and Guts 2 weeks before War Games is a bad idea? Both builds have been so-so. Like you said, I don't think we need 4 in a month. I don't think running any of them without a real reason to run them was a good idea, but people love them. So there they are, Phil.
Yeah, I don't think the timing of having it close to the War Games bothers me as much as just how inconsistent the build was, especially for the men's War Games match. And you already did the I Quit match with Darby and Mox. I don't know that you needed to go back and do more Darby and Mox stuff in the War Games match, but sorry. Blood and Guts keep interchangeable. There are 2 cages in both matches.
Chris Moore says, hi, guys. So bummed out about Deadlock going on indefinite hiatus. They were a gem of the generally weaker North Carolina indie scene. Is it a money or funding thing? The talent that I spoke to didn't quite have answers. They said that they didn't necessarily want to press. They were just bummed. I sent John Blood some words of encouragement. He just said, I think going out when we're still on top will be something that we don't regret. And they created something very special with Deadlock. Like, they created a wonderful community, a ton of talent that emerged from there and got opportunities there, and were able to do some cool, fun things there. I don't think I ever saw one Deadlock sucks tweet in my life. I don't think I ever saw one Deadlock sucks comment in my life. I got nothing but love for those guys and the guys behind it. So wishing them the best. Where do you stand on sort of the disappearance of some of the indies between Prestige and this? And Warrior went away for a while. I know that they were, they're back a little bit, but it's not going to be what it was with the level of star power that they booked.
Yeah. I just think that a lot of indies are feeling where the economy is right now. Yeah. And I think that, the economy is not in a great place, and you can see that in a lot of other businesses. So not surprising that it's affecting wrestling. Really sad to see Deadlock taking a hiatus. Hopefully they'll come back soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, very unfortunate news. They had a good run. It seems like people are very excited about a lot of the Deadlock shows. So yeah, hopefully they're back soon.
Razor says, think Braun gets the World Heavyweight Championship at Rumble 26. I don't see Punk holding it until Mania. Punk, MJF 97, HBK 0206, ROH 20-22, 20-22 AEW. He's explaining his favorites in regards to eras, but I mean, listen, there's a lot of options right now. Like, I don't even want to really consider Brock Lesnar wrestling at WrestleMania, but it's something that's going to happen. And they could have him face Obafemi. They could have him face Braun Breaker. They could have him face Gunther. They wanted to a long time ago. Braun Breaker could face any number of people. Obafemi could come in and face any number of people. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes is a big match that they have always very intentionally kept those two away from each other on. How are you seeing some of those like falling? Because they do have options right now.
Yeah, they do have a ton of options. I don't know if I believe Punk will make it all the way to Mania with the belt as well. But the big thing that is still hanging there is Elimination Chamber reportedly happening in Chicago. And it all depends on what that match is. If it's going to be a world title match where he is defending his belt in the chamber, that changes a lot. If he's going into the chamber trying to get a spot at WrestleMania, I don't know. That's why it's hard to tell right now, because the Rollins injury changed so much of what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, DNC Digital meant the 90s Survivor Series team names. Okay, I would have to go back and look at like what they were called, because I don't remember all of them, but there were some fun ones. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't remember any off the top of my head.
There's the Hulkamaniacs. There's the Alliance, the Mercenaries, the Visionaries. Go figure. The original Visionaries were Rick Martel, the Warlord, Hercules, and Paul Roma. Exactly who you think about when you think that. The $1 Million Team is an easy one, but the Dream Team with Dusty Rhodes, Coco Beware, Brett, Jim Neidhart. There's the Perfect Team, the Warriors. Man, these were pretty lazy. These are some lazy ass names. Like very, very lazy. I'm trying to see if there were any more back then. The Mercenaries is a cool one, I guess. If you had to, I think they had some more. The Ultimate Warriors, the Rude Brood. That's a good one. Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Jacques and Raymond Rougeau, Roddy's Rowdies. Solid. The King's Court. That's Macho King Randy Savage. The 4x4s, the Enforcers, the Dream Team. Do any of those stick out to you as being passable, much less your favorite?
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Dream Team just because it's a lazy pick, but it's also a pretty lazy name, so I'll go.
I got the Rude Brood. D-Lo Diggs says, "Sup, all? Phil, be warned on Saturday for the super chat on Grapsity, but happier than a pig in shit. Nico Harrison got fired. Thank God. Love ya. SRS, let's crank." Do you think it was Anthony Davis having to sit out like the last 2 weeks that just finally was the straw that broke the camel's back?
No, I think it was inevitable. There was no way he was keeping his job after that trade. That we're talking about one of the worst trades in NBA history, in my opinion. There's no way he was keeping his job after that. It's so funny. I thought about D'Lo and a bunch of other people who have been either tweeting us or sending us super chats ever since that trade, calling for this guy's head. I'm like, well, they'll be happy, but yeah, this guy was taking a fall for that. And I mean, the ownership, it owes some accountability as well because they had to approve that trade. But Nico's going to be the fall guy. There's no way he wasn't going to be.
What if that 2029 first round pick becomes the next megastar?
I mean, Cooper Flag could still become like the next guy. I know he's had a rough start to the season, but he could still be like the future of the league. I mean, at this point, it feels like it's Wemby's league. I don't know if anybody's gonna eclipse that guy anytime soon.
I would imagine that almost everybody had the same reaction that I did when that happened. I literally stopped as I was on my way home from the Rumble, stopped to take a piss at a gas station, and I saw the tweet, and I immediately went to check and see if it was a parody account.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm known for blocking people on Twitter. Back in the day, I only used to block fake Woj accounts. That was the only people I blocked for the first like 6 years. Then I would rationalize it by calling anybody that I blocked a fake Woj account.
Yeah, I think I was doing a stream on this channel when I saw it, and I was like, "Wait, is that real?" And like, so it was in the middle of me doing, I think it was the Royal Rumble post show or something, and I was just like, "Wait, that trade real? No way, that's real."
Unbelievable. Tim Traver, I want to send you all the best wishes and condolences for the loss that you have. I saw that you had mentioned that. Tin Ruza says, "Phil, Tokyo Dome going to be fire. 50K wild scenes." Man, Tanahashi's last match is going to draw, and Okada draws apparently, Phil.
Yeah, who would have guessed adding Okada and then 2 months before Wrestle Kingdom would do very well. Aaron Wolf has sold a lot of tickets as well. A lot of people are excited about his debut. I think that's big for them. And I think they really have the chance with Tsuji to really make him the next guy up when they really need a new main eventer. And this is the time. You're going to have a lot of eyes on that show because of Tanahashi's retirement. So you should really make him the next guy.
Is Phil a Hellboy fan? Which was his favorite movie?
Yeah, big Hellboy fan. I have a ton of Hellboy comics. I think it's the first movie. I enjoy the second movie. It is a little bit more kooky than the first movie. There's more singing and stuff, but I'm kind of sad we never got a third one. But the other one we got that looked great was not very good.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of who it was. Was Ron Perlman in Hellboy?
Yes, he was in the first two. Okay. He was great. He was perfect as Hellboy.
So I had a friend that used to live near me, and we bonded over wrestling. And he was always a funny guy. Like he was the clown of the friend group. And I didn't hear from him for years, and he just showed up randomly, like 2012, 2013 at a WrestleMania viewing party I did at my house. Like Didn't even invite him, but I was like, hell yeah. He knew where to go.
Mhm.
And he sees Triple H come out without hair. He's like, that motherfucker looks like Ron Perlman. And I've never thought anything else ever since when I see Ron Perlman. I've always thought Triple H when I see him.
Yeah, so
Every time.
there's the two movies with Ron Perlman, and then there's the reboot with David Harbour. The David Harbour movie is not good, but the first two are pretty good.
Josh Morgan, thank you so much. You always send a very generous super chat, humper chat. I can't tell you how important that is. Again, we are, I would say 95% funded by subscriptions to FightfulSelect.com or super chats and humper chats. So we really, really appreciate that. By the way, guys, if you're not subscribed to FightfulSelect.com, right now you can lock in your price for a year. I don't know if Jimmy's going to increase it in 2026. I just assume because listen, these people are greedy. But we have added Wrestle Votes to the slate. They've got 2 shows a week coming starting December. I'm adding a new monthly show. I believe Jeremy will as well. You can see Phil on Ask Grapsity every other week as well. It's a lot more than just scoops. It is very important for me to specifically get answers to things that you all want to know about, because I think that in what we do, especially when you're covering sports and entertainment, you need to be sort of viewer and reader service. So that's why we go so heavy on the Q&A stuff. We want to answer things that you guys want the answers to. So check out FightfulSelected.com. Scoops every single day. Mitchell Johnson says, love Chill Phil. Met him and Reg at All In, all class. I think one of my favorite memories of going to a wrestling show in person was seeing somebody completely fanboy out over you, Will, and Reg. I think it was Dallas at ROH.
Yeah. It
Oh, it was so great. It was wonderful. That was incredible.
Yeah, man. I am continuously humbled by that when people see us in person and say hello, man. It's always really cool because I always think like I'm just a guy that podcasts on the weekend and write some stuff every now and then.
Bill says, why are bookers frightened to book women on the same level as men? They're just as talented. Thoughts on the PWI top 10? All due respect to PWI, I got no thoughts on it. It's a kayfabe list. They work very hard at it. I saw people say, oh, well, they make more money because they put the. You all think that the people behind PWI are in it for the money? A magazine in 2025? You all think that is anything but a very time-intensive labor of love? I don't know what to tell you. They work very hard at what they do. But did you have any thoughts on the PWI top 10? I thought Mercedes deserved to be at number 1, and that's about it.
Yeah. Boy, every time I see people doing a whole, they're doing it for this check, this secret Tony Khan check or this secret Illuminati check we're getting from somebody. Boy, let me tell you, there is no money in a wrestling magazine. There is no money in running a wrestling outlet, guys.
To the point to where we did a magazine a few years ago, and I told Jimmy all the way, bad idea, stop doing it. And now we are going to post a bunch of the old articles for free on our Facebook. Please go follow. As far as why bookers are afraid to book women the same level as men, it's that they're afraid. They're afraid that they won't draw to the level that men do. Yeah. But it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, Phil, because if you don't book them to the same level, they almost never will unless you have somebody that breaks through to the level of Toni Storm or Becky Lynch that can't be denied. There's still no real reason Toni Storm and Mariah May should not have closed out that pay-per-view. Literally with a curtain closing across the stage to end the show. It should have been that. Yeah. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy is what it was, because they won't do it and they're afraid that they won't draw. And then the moment that they don't have the same numbers, they're like, see, I told you, we got to change it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's that a lot of people for a long time have said women cannot draw. And so you have some bookers that feel like we have to do something with the men to justify this. And you don't. I think that women's wrestling fans are some of the most passionate fans. I'm sure as Sean saw this week, there's a reason why I do not want any smoke with Diva stands or the crew or none of those like fan bases, because those people are crazy.
What are they gonna do? Whip my ass? What are they gonna do? Post an actual picture of themselves? No.
Yeah, those people are.
I've seen these accounts. They run the little cough feds and all that stuff. We got a humper chat that says, Sean, in 60 seconds, explain to me the Nikki Bella drama. Here's the Nikki Bella drama in 60 seconds. She attacked Stephanie Vaquer. I posted she's lost 3 matches in a row, which indicates, gee, I hope they have her win some matches, because otherwise, why wouldn't everybody just attack the world champion to get a title match? In fact, I think she should have won matches. I think she should have beaten Roxanne at least once, and then maybe somebody else. And then the catalyst for the turn should have been, well, I saved your ass a whole bunch of times, and then I won these matches, and you're giving Raquel title shots, but not your friend. Like, what, you got to dislike somebody to give them a title shot? I'll make you dislike me really quick. And I had people that claimed ignorantly that I was taking a shot at Nikki Bella. If I would have tweeted anything besides "mother is serving," they would have said the same shit. Doesn't matter. If you all want to settle for lazy ass, uninspired booking for your favorite wrestler, then go ahead. You all can do that. But don't sit there and be a fucking weirdo to me, because I'm like, damn, I wish this Hall of Fame wrestler would get some wins. I think that would actually be better. Then I got people, Phil, telling me wins and losses don't matter in wrestling, because Road Dogg's been saying it for years.
Oh God, yeah.
Listen, I like Road Dogg personally. We've had some nice conversations. I like him as a guy. I think that is the laziest crutch ever. Because if wins and losses don't matter, why did Nikki Bella hold that thing up above her head? Was she holding it up above her head because she wants to lose in the match against Stephanie? No. And if wins and losses don't matter, why the fuck are there 20 championships in every wrestling company right now?
Yeah, it's a competition. Of course, wins and losses matter. I'm not watching this to see, so hey, everybody had a good time, right? No, I want to see my favorite wrestler win, and that was the funny thing about it to me. But I've also, at this point, I've written for multiple women's wrestling outlets. I at this point know how Diva stands are. So when I saw this happening, I knew exactly what this was. But I've
been on the largely good side of them from the Sasha crew for years, though, because I've been able to uncover some positive Mercedes stuff. But listen, I won't say who reached out to me, but somebody reached out to me, and it'd be very embarrassing if those stands knew who did.
Of course,
like I'll leave
of course
there.
that happens quite often, where I'll tweet something and somebody in the know or a wrestler or something is agreeing with me, but everybody on the timeline are yelling at me.
Yes.
Yeah, but
also, why are we at this point? It's especially bad with women's wrestling, Phil. And I know you see this too, where any tepid criticism of the on-screen character or the booking is perceived as a personal attack. I saw that with Brian Alvarez a couple weeks ago, because he was talking about how Ava was booked as general manager. And all due respect to Ava and the people that chimed in, but he was not attacking her on a personal level.
He was saying the character was bad. He wasn't saying Ava is a bad person,
or that she portrayed it bad or anything like that. Like, you can go back and watch my 2016, 2017 SmackDown reviews, and there would be people being like, why is Nikki Bella getting these chances? And I'm like, because she worked fucking hard. She worked really hard, and she's better now, and she's helping become a glue of the division. And I got people still saying, you shaded Nikki. Shaded? What? I want her to win matches.
No,
shaded.
When I saw the tweet, I was like, oh, he's just saying that wins and losses should matter. Not that, I hate Nikki Bella or I hate women. People trying to turn it into that was very weird, but it's what I expect from a lot of the Stan fan bases. And the thing is, Nikki is a very polarizing wrestler. And so she has taken a lot of unfair criticism from people. And I think the same thing happens with Sasha sometimes, where she gets dumped on by some of these podcasters so much that a lot of her fan base feels like they have to overcompensate to defend her. And it's like, you don't have to respond to everything said about this woman anywhere, because all of it isn't personal.
And there's a lot of inherent misogyny in a lot of the criticism, Wiley. But I don't know how you can ever look at what I post or what I do on shows and be like, that guy just hates women. He never complains when the men do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I remember specifically when Brian Cage attacked somebody backstage and got a title shot. And I go, what? He didn't win. Why? What? If that's the case, why doesn't everybody just beat him up? And I'll have people say, oh, well, Stephanie's going to want her revenge. Why does she need a match? She can't beat up Nikki after a match like Nikki just did. She can't catch her backstage like Becky Lynch did to Maxine. Like, make it make sense. Want your booking to make sense. And I know that Nikki Bella especially did come up in a very misogynistic period where they struggle. Not only did they struggle for time, they had their matches cut, the Mania match cut right there. But like, come on, guys, sitting there being like, oh my God, it's the middle-aged white guy doing it again. I'm like, what are you talking about here? What are you? Come on.
You were supposed to get on there like, nah, she ate. She
yeah.
With your little two-finger clapping. She ate.
I'm sorry, guys, that I don't serve cunt to an appropriate level of which satisfies you guys. I apologize. I will do a better job at my attempts to serve.
Yeah.
Back in my day, people got served all the time, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I try to keep my thoughts about a lot of women's wrestlers to a minimum on the timeline, because a lot of these fan bases are crazy.
It's why I leave almost all of my criticism to the podcasts, because people are just strange and parasocial. But that's neither here nor there. Let's hear from our wonderful sponsors at Nord before we read the rest of these super chats. If you're a wrestling fan and you're frustrated with all the services you need to watch all the different wrestling shows, Fightful has your solution with nordvpn.com/Fightful. Change your virtual location with just one click, and you'll be able to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs on one Netflix account. You'll also be able to get a lot of pay-per-views at a much more affordable price than you do here in the United States. This is a must-have for wrestling fans. That way you don't have to have 7 different accounts to watch all of the shows that you want to watch. In addition to that, they have a great 30-day money-back guarantee and an incredible deal right now going on. But that's far from it. You can protect yourself on their VPN service, the fastest in the world, shield your data from snoops and criminals, protect yourselves on public Wi-Fi, and it's available on all your devices and operating systems. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Serving you guys some NordVPN.com/Fightful. Sean, do you think Randy will return soon? They always have him advertised with Cody, but hasn't been on the show in 2 months. So I don't want to say that he's just got time off, but he does have time off worked into his deals. Like, he's not on the same schedule he used to be. He's usually honestly pretty transparent if he's hurt or something like that. So I'll dig around. I'll see what I can find out. He would also be a nice addition to War Games if they had to add somebody. But we got Crazy 101 says, are Hyan, Maya World, Zeta Steel signed by AEW ROH? So they all should be. First off, Zeta has interest from AEW. She was backstage. I had an agent asking me about Maya World and what I thought of her this week. And I was like, I think you should probably try to represent her because she's probably going to make a lot of money in wrestling. And Hyan has been a top prospect for years. The fact that TNA hasn't already signed her since AEW and WWE haven't is kind of surprising to me, Phil. But any thoughts on those 3?
Yeah, I think Maya World has a bright future. I think it would be smart to pick her up before somebody else does. And like you, I'm surprised nobody had signed Hyan before this, because Hyan's been around for a while. She was a part of like the Reality of Wrestling crowd all the way back with Kylie there. And so I don't know why no one has signed her.
Razor says, Ibu thinks Drew versus Cody 3 happens soon. QB1 is my GOAT. Okay, there we go. Beating Drew 3 times is excessive, but that booking polarizes faces. QB1 got a few boo birds. Okay, in 2025. I think that Drew McIntyre's losses actually have contributed to his character development over the last couple of years. But where do you stand on Cody beating Drew again?
You've got to give him the win at some point now because he loses a lot. And I think at this point, you're risking getting into the territory where he just talks a good game constantly, but always loses.
Wheelchair Hulk says, went to a mystery wrestling show the day after All Out. Legit, some of the most fun I've had at a wrestling show. I was very close to working that show. Very close to working that show. It didn't end up happening. I didn't end up going to Toronto at all, but I love mystery wrestling. It is a lot of fun. Ryan says, Oba put on some more beef. Him versus Sheamus. That would be a fun one. That would be a very, very fun one.
Yeah.
Roberto Arsenal says, hey, Phil, what's your favorite Lupe Fiasco song? His Fahrenheit mixtapes were great. Saya Kamatani is my number one, but PWI women's list got it right.
Yeah, I agree. I was glad to see Saya at least in the top 10, but yeah, I think they got it right. Favorite Lupe song? I really like Emperor Soundtrack. Might be that one. I'm sure I have like a bunch of deep cuts, but I don't want to get into my long list.
All right. Van Twinblade says, y'all see Jericho blowing smoke up TNA's ass? What a clown. He said that they looked like the second biggest company at Bound for Glory. And I was like, I don't see anything really wrong with him saying that they looked really, really great on their biggest night, one of their biggest nights ever. Like, I don't see that. He says the crowd looked huge. It looked huge, like a WWE level crowd. Place was packed. I was watching this, not saying anything out of school here, but comparing it to watching Dynamite when they were at the ECW arena, looked like a Tony Candela taping. Sorry, it did. TNA looked like the second biggest company in the world. That was amazing. Presentation was amazing. Looked like a WrestleMania. It really did. Well, first off, no, it didn't look like a WrestleMania or anything resembling a WrestleMania. But I don't think it's out of place for that one night to say, oh, well, yeah, that night it looked like
good.
The second biggest company.
Yeah, I don't know why you would get upset at that. I think he was probably just trying to pay them a compliment.
Yeah. Razor says, Sean, when did Roman and Punk film their movie? Well, it's Zootopia, so they just filmed lines. I will say, them as a buddy cop duo in Zootopia, I'll probably give it a watch. I'll probably watch that.
I didn't see the first one.
I think they recorded their lines earlier this year. I think. I miss match graphics where the stars moved, then stopped. The moving graphics, Wrestling Revolver brought those back for a while. Big fan of those. Love the moving graphics. LaRon Ford says there's no reason the women shouldn't be main eventing Full Gear over the men in a match we saw a month ago. Which Blood and Guts match do you think should main event tonight?
I think the women should main event.
Me too.
I don't think they will, though.
And I got to agree with LaRon Ford. I would be fine with the women main eventing Full Gear as well. I'd be good with that. New Lac City says, great to see Phil on the show. I agree that Blood and Guts should have been built better, but I'm still excited to see it. As am I, New Lac City. Says, just seems that AEW has too much other stuff going on. Women's tag titles in Full Gear. They should move Blood and Guts to a non-pay-per-view month. I actually like the idea of it happening in like January or something. That way you have a big marquee show to fill that gap where you don't have a pay-per-view. Or February, Phil.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it moved. I mean, usually it's earlier in the year, correct? This is the latest in the year it's been so
Feels
far.
like it. Let me check. Because I feel like it was in the spring in the past, right?
I think it's been like in like March or May or something like that.
Let's see. Last year it was July. The year before July. The year before June. The year before May. So it just keeps getting later and later. They're going to do it on New Year's Eve eventually. To follow up on Tony Mariah, my new theory is because TK knew Mariah was leaving, didn't want to give someone on the way out a main event spot. To me, that's just petty.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest stories in AEW history, one of the greatest stories in women's wrestling history. And Phil, I could think of no more appropriate ending in LA than to have a curtain close across the damn thing on Mariah May, and that's the end of her AEW career.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say that he didn't want to give Mariah the main event spot, but I think it did a disservice to your wrestler that you still have there in Tony Storm, because you had such a great storyline with Tony and Mariah. Tony deserved the chance to main event that show.
Yeah. Islam or JDM? I put money on my bookie AG on Islam Makhachev, and I put money on Valentina Shevchenko. We'll see how that ends up. But go check out my bookie AG. You can find the links on our website as well. But I got Islam Makhachev this weekend. Do you think we see EO versus Asuka at WrestleMania next year?
I would love to. I think if anything, it might end up being like a triple threat: EO, Asuka, Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to. If you guys have followed me or watched Rhapsody, you guys know that Asuka is my favorite wrestler. I have been saying for the longest, I want EO versus Asuka on a pay-per-view stage, and I think they deserve the WrestleMania spot.
I don't want them to fumble the eventual Kyrie turn like they did the Otis Chad Gable one. They had Otis red hot, and all he did was push Chad Gable. Kyrie's got to do something big. I wouldn't mind seeing EO, Asuka, Kyrie at Mania either. Get them all integrated, but and in one match to kind of solidify that. But by then, I wonder if Kyrie's still with Asuka. Mr. Acosta, happy birthday to you. He said the shot of Oba's shadow behind Ricky was one of the coldest shots in wrestling ever. He needs to be on the main roster yesterday. Yeah, I think it's time, and I think there are great people for him to work with there that can properly erect him, so to speak.
One of the coldest shots ever. Is that you, Fadeaway Media? That you behind that?
Oh my God. LMAO! He once claimed that he had my CM Punk source stop feeding me information. I was like,
God.
You talked to CM Punk, did you? I was like, is that what you did? You found his AOL email, did you? Okay. Ten Ruza says NYC is hashtag all elite. I miss Arthur Ashe. All in New York City. I believe they didn't do Arthur Ashe because it's got some construction going on. But
yeah,
Phil, have you ever been to an Arthur Ashe show?
No, I was really close to going one year, and I want them to go back to New York to do a big show like Arthur Ashe or even Barclays, something in the New York metropolitan area.
Here's how I can tell Tony Khan. He loves to see himself as the everyman, right? He is sincerely one of the most grounded billionaires you could talk to, but he has never made that walk to Arthur Ashe from where you got to park or where you got to go from public transit. He has been dropped off by that building. That's one of the things that I think leaves him a little detached sometimes. And when you leave, like when you're in New York or Philadelphia or somewhere like that, and you run a pay-per-view past 12, a lot of the public transit stops at 12 as well. And it's something that I think companies should get better in.
Yeah.
Does AEW have any interest in more trans wrestlers? Not that I've specifically heard of at this moment.
Yeah. All right, man. We got to see more of Nia on TV, man. Sorry, Nyla on TV.
Yeah. She's not hurt or anything. Mr. Acosta says, Phil, don't disrespect me like that.
Hey, man, you left it up there. I just dunked it in.
DNC Digital says that they dropped the Bailey split personality story. Don't remember seeing much of it lately. They have not, but they had other things to focus on leading into Survivor Series. But I hope not, because Bailey and Lyra have done too much really great work this year to just ignore that. And I think you need supplemental non-title storylines, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope they're not done with it because they dedicated a lot of TV time to it, and it would be kind of a waste to just drop it.
Ryan says the age story for WWE is funny because it's not like they lack world champion level under 30 wrestlers. Time to focus on Oba, Braun, Dom, Evans, Trick. Yes, I don't want Javon Evans to go back to NXT after this match with Gunther, which I am very pumped for. And I saw people say, no, he'd fit in more on SmackDown. No, I want him where he doesn't fit in, so he will stand out even more, is what I want. I want him out there having matches with Braun Breaker and Gunther and stuff like that. Not on the same brand where Rey Fenix and Carmelo and people are struggling to get matches and be highlighted. I would like to see him on Raw facing top talent there.
Yeah. I continue to be amazed at how they're not going full in with Rhea. I think Rhea is the hottest young star they have by far, man or woman. And they should be going full in on making her like a centerpiece of WrestleMania this year.
I believe that is all the super chats and humper chats. Phil, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Saturdays on this very YouTube channel, hosting Grapsody with Righteous Reg, Saturdays at noon Eastern. You can also find my writing at Bleacher Report. You can find some Grapsody clips and interviews at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Grapsody.
Tin Ruza says scared Bailey is going to stay at the Fed. Please, Pam AEW. I think that would actually be a good move for her going to AEW, but there's a lot of time between now and her deal being up. Guys, Fightful Awards coming up in 2 months. If you would like to sponsor the Fightful Awards, $100 a pop gets you an ad read on the show for the award that you prefer. Link in the description. You can take that clip and use it elsewhere. Link in the replies. I will also retweet it to 330,000 people, and it supports what we do and the wrestlers that we cover. Check that out. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Until next time, we are out.